What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make your own custom transitions inside of LumaFusion. Now, the transition that we're going to create in today's video is probably the easiest, the simplest, but yet maybe the most powerful transition that we could possibly make in LumaFusion. It's so simple, but it really makes a huge difference to the clips that you thought that, hey, I can't use this in this edit because it doesn't fit and I don't want to use raw cuts. It's really simple to create, and in today's video I'm going to show you exactly how to turn still or boring clips, which might have been shot on a tripod, there's no movement in them, and turn that into something awesome which looks something like this. But before we move over to the iPad, if this is the first time that you are here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That would be highly appreciated. Notification bell if you want to be the first one in the comment section below. And also check out RobHKvlogs.com if you are looking for LumaFusion presets, templates, transitions, whatever, lower thirds, whatever you are interested in. You can probably find a lot of things that you might like on our website. Now that said, let's head over to the iPad and create some awesome transitions. Now moving over to LumaFusion, I've already prepared some clips here on the timeline, and what we're going to do is to create some shapes, which is illustrating that the camera is moving behind something and then revealing the next clip. There is a little bit more movement in this waterfall here at the beginning, and as we can see, it moves from the bottom left over to the top right. So that is the same movement that we're going to animate. So we're going to go on and we're going to start with this one first. So the first thing we're going to do is to select the first clip and go into edit. The next thing is that we're going to zoom in this clip a little bit. As I mentioned, we have the movement coming in from the bottom left to the top right. So we're going to create the same movement but a little bit faster. So we're going to go on and we're going to zoom this in a little bit here, something like that. And we're going to start it from around here. So we can just make a keyframe here at the beginning and we can go towards the end here. And you can also, what you can do is to do a playback and sort of feel when you want the movement to start and how fast you want it to be. So if we're going to do a playback on this, we want to have it around here. And this is my personal preference. So again, around here. So here we're going to start with a keyframe right here. And then we're going to go to the end, and we're simply going to take this and drag over to the top here. We can actually drag it down like this, and we can just do a playback here to see how that goes. If it goes too slow, we might speed it up. If it goes too fast, we might slow it down. So that was a little bit too fast. So I'm actually going to go to the end keyframe and just place this around here. And we're going to do that again. Perfect. So here we have the animation to this clip. Now it doesn't look good as you can see here, but we're going to adjust that with some shapes. So what we're going to do now is to go out to the timeline again, and we're going to take the next clip here, this one of the parrot, and I'm also going to disable the clip snapping and take this and drag a little bit over this previous first clip. So now that we've done that, we can see we have the waterfall coming in here, and we don't see the movement to it yet because this other one is coming in here. But I want to do something with this as well. I want to zoom this in and create some animation to it. So what I'm going to do is to just pinch to zoom in here, and I'm going to make a keyframe right at where it is now. Then I'm going to go to the end and just pull it a little bit to the left here, so we have some slightly movement to it. And as you can see here, if we do a playback of that, we have some tiny movement to that shot as well. Now, what we're going to do now is to go over, we can just leave the clips as they are now. So we have this one coming down here, and then it goes over to the next one. But what we're going to do now is to go over to the circle here with the plus inside. We're going to create a new overlay, and we're going to shrink this into around 20 frames-ish. You can always adjust the length of it later on. And we're going to go into edit on this text layer, go over to titles and delete your text here. And now we're going to create a shape. You can create a shape like this, which is just basic square, which you can use and animate as a transition. But I want to create something that illustrates sort of a leaf or something which is similar to these two scenes here. So we have the water white and the plants here which are green, and going over to the next scene we have the same sort of colors. We have some white here, and we also have the green parrot and the green leaves in the background. So that's what I want to illustrate with this shape as well. So we're going to go into edit, and we can just make a bunch of different shapes if we want to do that. And let's start with the triangle. I'm going to place this up here. I'm going to change the color to, what we can do as well is to go to the beginning here, and we can actually use the color selection tool here by tapping on that, and you can drag this over to the color that you want. So this one maybe, and I'm simply going to duplicate this and go over to the oval one, drag this down here, make it a little bit bigger, and change the color of that to a little bit greener-ish. And I'll duplicate that again. Let's go over and do a rounded rectangle here. And this I want to make black. We're going to duplicate again. And this time I want to go with the octagon maybe. It's all up to you what different types of shapes you want to use. There's no rule for the type of shape that you can use. You just want to create something which you can use as a transition. So now we basically made a couple of shapes here, and if we go out to the timeline here, you can see this doesn't look good at all, so we need to fix this. So what we're going to do is to go over to the color and effects tab, over to the water droplet which is on top here, and just add a Gaussian 40, 80, 100 or 20. And as you can see here, we kind of blend everything together, and it creates a better look to all the shapes. So if we keep it around here, I'm actually going to go over to titles here and make another duplicate of this, and I'm going to place that around here and just cover some of that black as well. So now we have something which is looking a little bit better than the first one. Now what we can do now is to go to the point here where we have the transition coming in. So it's around here. We can make a keyframe here, and we can just resize this and rotate it, and we can place it outside of the frame. Now going further into the timeline here, just by using the skip to next frame buttons here, we can go to this one where it stops, and we can take this and drag all the way down to the opposite side. So if we go out to the timeline now and just scrub through here, it might go a little bit too fast or too slow, but that was actually quite decent. So if we just do a playback of that, you see the shape coming in. It's a little bit too fast maybe. So we can go over to the first clip, maybe take this keyframe here, just go a few frames backwards, make another one, and delete this in the middle. That will also allow this to be a little bit slower. So if we go out to the timeline again, and we can do another playback, it moves a little bit slower this time, and we have the shape coming in. The shape moves a little bit fast here, but we can go over to the first keyframe, and we can go down to this part here. You can also follow the line here. As you can see here, we can just adjust the shape if we want to do that. Just place it around here, maybe make it a little bit bigger, and we can just place it around like that. Go to the next one and see it moves a little bit too much. I'm gonna delete the last one, and then I'm simply gonna do sort of frame by frame here. So around here and around there, and let's just move it a little bit further down, something like that. But as we can see here, once we get to this point right here, we can start to see the end of the first clip. So we need to go into edit on the shape again to actually fill that. So we can go over to the next keyframe here maybe, and just drag this a little bit further down. We can go backwards to see if that is clearing the gap, and if it's not clearing it, you can simply just do it manually by dragging it a little bit down. So let's do a playback of that. Perfect. So now we can see that we have the shape coming in here covering the image which is below on track 1. And then we have the parrot coming in right here, but we need to fix this as well. So what we're going to do now is to take the parrot clip and just drag forward here to something like that. And what we're going to do now is to go into edit on the parrot clip here. And we're going to go to the beginning. We're going to go over to cropping. And we're actually going to take the cropping here on the bottom left side and just remove it because it's not going to be in the frame quite yet. So we're going to remove it, make a keyframe, and now you can also go frame by frame. And when this shape is covering more of the screen, you can just animate and take the cropping here back towards the previous screen and just continue to follow the shape here like this. And there we have the shape covering the entire bottom of the screen. That means we can take the entire cropping line here and just drag out or tap on this button right here to reset. So if we go out to the timeline now, we should have the perfect animated shape here doing the transition for us. So let's do a playback of this short sequence right here. Perfect. Now we want to create the same thing for this clip. So we're going to create it a little bit different this time. We're going to just shrink this in. Going to take this other clip here, just place underneath. And we can now actually duplicate this if we want to do that. So we're going to duplicate that and place that above these two clips right here. Go into edit. And this time we can go to size and positioning and just reset all of the keyframes here. We can scale it in like that. And make a keyframe at the beginning. Then I'm going to take the shape and just drag all the way to the top here, a little bit more like that. Just make sure it's centered with the position X. And I'm going to go to the pointer right here maybe and just take it all the way down to the opposite side. Now I'm going to see how fast this is going as well, or if it's going too slow and the adjustments we need to do to it. Looks quite decent. So let's do a playback of that. And as you can see here, the shape is covering the entire screen right here exactly when we are going into the next clip. So that means you don't have to do any cropping. The only thing you need to do is to create the shape and then place above. So I also want to adjust some of the colors here. So I'm going to go into edit and over to titles, and this green one here, I want that to be black. Going back to the timeline, we now have changed the color of the shape and this looks a little bit better. So we go from the bird here, the parrots, and then moves over to the gray bird. And one more thing is that you can see here that we might have a line. If this is going, the shape animation is going really fast, you don't have to think about this, but you can see we have some sort of a line here, which is the line caused by the Gaussian blur. So if we go into edit here, we can always take these and drag a little bit further down to see if that helps. Now we remove the line completely, but if you still have the line, we can go over to Gaussian blur and you can simply just lower the radius of the Gaussian blur so it's not that much, which is also gonna remove the lines which you might have when you are doing a transition like this. So now we have the first one coming in here, we have the next one coming in here, and let's create another one on this one right here. So I'm gonna duplicate this, place it above, and we have this one coming in here a little bit fast, but that's all right. Just extend this clip a little bit more here and place this here. Let's take a look at that. Perfect. But if I want this to go the opposite way, I go into edit on the shape, over to frame and fit, and I simply take the top keyframe here, which is on the top, and then just drag that down. Go to the bottom one or the last keyframe and drag this to the opposite side. So now let's do a playback of these shapes here to see the short sequence that we just created. Now there's a lot of different ways of creating transitions like this. I think we have a photo here which we can also use. Let's see if we can find it. Yes, we have one here, and this is just a wooden stock here, which, you know, we can use something like this as a transition as well. So what we want to do here is to simply take it so it covers the frame like that. And let's just go out to the timeline here and just shrink it down. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna place it above here, extend the lion, and go into edit on the wooden stock. Go to the beginning, make a keyframe, and take the position X here and drag it all the way outside of the frame. Go to the point where I want it to be on the opposite side, and then just drag it to the opposite side. Now, once we've done this, you can see that we have the transition coming in here. And to, you know, sell in this effect and to remove the lion and to remove the everything which is going on here, what we're going to do is to go into the image of the Lion King here, and we're going to go straight over to cropping, over to the beginning, or where right before the wood stock is coming in, which is here, and make a keyframe right here. I'm going to go frame by frame, so here we don't have to do anything, and one more frame, we don't have to do anything. Here we can start to take in the crop, so it's sort of centered behind the stock here, and go a little bit more like that, and just kind of follow whatever object that you have and use as a transition shape layer or object to create this effect. So as you can see here, we're just following the center of the wooden stock here, and we have the next clip coming in here. So at the end there, we completely cropped in the image of the Lion King. And as we can see here, once we scrub through, we have the Lion King, and then we have the object coming in, revealing the next clip. So now that we use this wood as the final transition here, let's go over to the beginning and do a final playback of this short sequence which we put together. Now, what's really good about making transitions like this is that you can use any type of objects or subjects even, but make sure that the file is PNG so it's transparent, or if you have something that you really want to use like a part inside a photo or something like that, you can always mask that out using something like Affinity Photo and then create your own PNG file. Now, I really hope that you enjoyed this video as well, and if you are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, that would be appreciated, and leave a comment down in the comment section below what you think of this video as well. And with that said, that's the end, and I'll see you guys in the next video.